Hello and welcome back to the Road to Good Cooking. A couple of years ago, I won a cooking contest and got a gift certificate for Amazon.com. And of course, you know me and cooking, I had to go buy me some kitchen gadgets. So I bought some sausage making equipment. And since that day, I have been the sausage making queen. I'm telling you, once you start making your own sausage, you really don't want to buy that store-bought stuff anymore. Over the last couple of years, I bet you I've made over 100 pounds of sausage in different flavors, and I've found some really great recipes online, some of which I tried it for the first time, and then I went back and tweaked it and added, put my own little flavor to it. Here's my breakfast sausages that I make for my seniors. They love my breakfast sausages, and I make a ton of those every single week. Once you start making your own sausage, you will be so spoiled. I'm telling you. Today I'm making kielbasa sausage. It's a recipe that one of my YouTube friends shared, and I will put his link in the comments section. Now here's the ingredients. Let's get started. Here I have 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of coarse black pepper, 1/2 tablespoon of onion powder, 2.5 teaspoons of mustard powder, and 1 cup of powdered non-fat dry milk. Here's the meat that I'll be using. I have a 8-pound pork shoulder roast and a 2-pound chuck roast. I'm only going to be using half of the chuck roast and half of the pork shoulder. In my measuring cup, I have 2 cups of ice cold water, and I will be adding 1 teaspoon of Instacure number 1 and 7 teaspoons of kosher salt. Now I'm going to whisk everything together until the salt dissolves. Then I'm going to put the ice cold water back in the fridge so it can stay cold while I prepare my other items. I will be using natural hog casings for this recipe. I ordered my hog casings from a company online called High Mountain Seasoning, and I will post their link to their website in the description box below. I order this stuff by the case because I do make so much sausage. Now what I end up doing is rinsing off the casings and get all the salt off, and then I put them in a bowl full of cold water and just let them sit until they rehydrate and get soft and pliable where I can use them. I always have hog casings in the bowl in the fridge because I make so much sausage. Now you can probably get them from your local butcher as well. Here are all the toys that I'll be using today to make my sausage. There's my scale. And this has got to be my favorite kitchen toy, my Lim meat grinder. And this baby is awesome. Before I got my meat grinder, I was using the grinder attachment on my KitchenAid mixer, which was an absolute nightmare. Here's my sausage stuffer. It's a hand crank job, and it is really, really cool. And there's the horn. This is where I'll be attaching the natural hog casings on, and there are the blades for my grinder. Here I have my stainless steel bowl, which was in the freezer overnight, so it is ice cold, and that way it'll help me keep the meat cold while I'm working on it. Here's my pork roast, which I'm going to be trimming up a tad bit and then chopping it up. Here's my chuck roast, and like I said earlier, I'm only going to be using half of the chuck roast and half of the pork roast. I'm going to go off camera, get everything all chopped up, and I'll be back in a second. Everything is chopped up, ready to go. Here's my pork, here's my chuck roast. Now this is when the fun starts, so now it's time to grind some meat. As I mentioned earlier, before I got my meat grinder, I was using my KitchenAid mixer, and I had purchased a meat grinding attachment for my mixer. Well, after the first couple of batches of sausage I did, I thought, this really sucks because it was so labor intensive. It took me over an hour to grind up a pound of meat one time when I first started making sausage, and I thought, oh no, this will never do. So when I won my gift certificate, that was the first thing I did. I went out and I bought myself a meat grinder and all the other toys that I needed for making sausage. Now my suggestion to you is, if you are interested and you really like making your own sausage, I would highly recommend you buying a dedicated meat grinder and all the other toys that goes along with making sausage. It would make your life so much easier. I'm telling you. Now I had 8 pounds of meat here that I'm grinding up, and it took me all of maybe 3 minutes to grind up 8 pounds of meat with my grinder. So there you have it. I finished grinding up all of my meat. I weighed out 4 pounds of the pork and 1 pound of the ground beef. I put the rest in the fridge, and I'll work it up later on when I'm done with my sausage. I took a minute and I washed up all my meat grinding attachments, and now I'm ready to start seasoning up my meat. I made another batch of sausage about a week after I made this batch, and instead of adding the ingredients one at a time, I put them all in a small bowl and mixed it until it was well combined, and then I added it to the sausage. The non-fat dry milk is going in here, and according to my fellow YouTuber, he said the powdered milk will serve as a binder. I fast forwarded the mixing step to save some time. I actually mixed my sausage for about 4 minutes, and I wanted to make sure all the spices were well combined with the meat. Now, you're talking about a good arm workout. Oh my word, my arm was so sore by the time I got done mixing up this meat. That was my workout for the day. Here I'm adding the ice water with the salt Instacure mixture. Now, Instacure number 1 is a curing salt that inhibits the growth of bacteria during the low temperature smoking process. It will also give my kielbasa that beautiful red color that we're so used to seeing when we buy kielbasa sausage. I covered my container with the lid, and I'll put my sausage in the fridge and let it cure overnight. It's the next day, and I've attached my sausage stuffer to my stainless steel work table. Here's the canister with the hog casing on the horn, and the extra hog casing in the back there. My chilled sausage, and after I use half, I'll put half of it in the canister and the other half will go in the fridge until I'm ready to use it. And here is my nice cleaned up meat grinder, all washed up, ready to go for the next sausage project. I hand cranked my stuffer until the meat came to the end of the horn. I didn't tie a knot in the hog casing until all the air was pushed out. And here I'm pulling out a lid of the hog casing, and I'm going to tie a knot at the end. It was a little tricky trying to tie a knot with these gloves on, but I did it. To make sure that the sausage casing is getting nice and tight. That's why I'm constantly holding on to it. First batch done. I'm going to go off camera for a bit and I'm going to finish stuffing the rest of my sausages. And here's my finished stuffed sausage. Thing of beauty, aren't they? Yeah, just take your time and get them stuffed and then they'll be good to go. Now I decided to use a sterilized straight pin to prick all of my sausages. Pricking the sausage will get rid of any of the air pockets, and this will keep the sausage from exploding during the cooking process. I'm going to cook my sausage on my grill today because I haven't quite mastered using my smoker at a lower temperature. Here's my cherry wood chunks that I wrapped in aluminum foil. Then I punched holes in the foil so when the wood starts to burn, it will release smoke into my grill, adding a super nice flavor to my sausage. Now I'm going to cook my sausage for about 2 to 3 hours or until it reaches an internal temperature of 150 degrees. And I'll probably flip them at least once during the cooking process. When my sausage reached an internal temperature of 150 degrees, I immediately took it off the grill and put them in an ice water bath to stop the cooking process. I removed my sausage from the ice water bath to a baking sheet lined with a cooling rack, and I patted them dry. My sausage will rest on this cooling rack for about 3 hours at room temperature. This will allow the sausage to bloom, and by blooming that means the flavor will intensify and the color will turn that real deep dark red. After the blooming process, I packaged up all of my sausage and they will go into the freezer for safekeeping. I have a catered luncheon coming up in a couple weeks, so I will be using them at that time. I kept out a few of the sausages and I cooked them today, and I'm going to share them with my sister neighbors. I topped 2 with grilled peppers and onions and 2 with mustard and sauerkraut, and they were off the charts good. Can't wait to make another batch real soon.